They watched me collapse, broken, shattered, barely able to stand under the weight of my own failures. They stood over me like judges at an execution, waiting for the final breath of my ambition to fade. I could hear their voices, mocking, doubting, laughing at the idea that I could ever rise again. He's done. She'll never recover from this. That's the end of the road for them. They spoke as if they had already written my obituary, as if my story was over, as if the pain I was drowning in would keep me buried forever. And maybe, for a moment I believed them. Maybe, for a moment, I let the weight of their words press down on me, suffocating every last spark of hope. But then something happened. Deep within the wreckage of my defeat, something inside me refused to die. It was buried under exhaustion, under disappointment, under the endless weight of betrayal and loss. But it was still there. A fire, a hunger, a rage that would not be silenced. They thought they had witnessed my downfall, but in reality, they had just witnessed the moment everything changed. You see, real power doesn't come from easy victories. It doesn't come from applause or approval. It comes from the moments that nearly destroy you. It comes from crawling through your own darkness, from facing the demons that live inside your mind, from choosing, despite every reason to quit, to rise again. And I did rise, not in a loud, dramatic way, not with grand gestures or public declarations. I rose in silence. I rose while they were still celebrating my failure. I rose while they were still underestimating me. I rose when no one was watching, no one was listening, no one believed I ever would. And that's what makes me dangerous. Because they expected me to stay broken. They expected me to beg for another chance. They expected me to seek their approval. But I did none of those things. Instead, I turned inward. I built myself in the darkness they left me in. I sharpened my mind, strengthened my resolve, and prepared for the day I would return, not as the person they once knew, but as something entirely different. They thought this was my end. They had no idea it was just the beginning. They thought they had crushed me. They thought they had taken everything from me, every ounce of strength, every piece of confidence, every shred of hope. They watched me stumble, fall, and get buried beneath the weight of my own failure. And they rejoiced. They laughed in the shadows, whispering to each other that my story had come to an end, that I was finished, just another casualty of life's cruel game. But they couldn't see it. They couldn't see what was happening beneath the surface. They couldn't see the quiet rebellion stirring inside me. Because in that silence, something powerful was growing. It wasn't loud, it wasn't obvious, but it was real. It was the quiet strength of someone who knows they've been underestimated. Someone who knows their worth even when the world is telling them they don't have one. What they thought was the final chapter of my life was merely the prelude to something far more dangerous. They didn't understand that pain doesn't break you. Pain is a furnace. Pain is what shapes you. Pain is what forces you to burn away the weak parts of yourself and emerge from the ashes as something new, something unstoppable. The truth is, they underestimated my resilience. They mistook my quiet for defeat, my patience for weakness, my struggle for surrender, but they didn't know that I was never looking for sympathy. I wasn't asking for anyone's help. I didn't need their validation. I didn't need anyone to hold my hand through the storm. I was becoming the storm. Every moment of pain became a building block. Every setback became a lesson. Every person who doubted me, every failure I faced, only added fuel to the fire that was burning inside me. They thought they were tearing me down, but all they were doing was pushing me closer to my transformation. And now, as I stand before them, they don't even recognize me. I'm not the person I was before. I'm not the one they laughed at. I'm not the one they thought would stay down. I'm the version of myself that has survived the unthinkable, the one who faced the darkness and chose not to be consumed by it. I've learned that the hardest battles reveal the most about who you truly are. They thought they had destroyed me, but all they did was create a monster. Now they must face what they've unleashed. They believed they had pushed me to the edge. They thought they could break me, shatter me into a million pieces and watch as I crumbled under the pressure. They had no idea that everything they threw at me, every cruel word, every failed attempt to bring me down, was only preparing me for something far greater. They never saw it coming. They couldn't see beyond their own narrow vision. They didn't understand the process, the evolution, the transformation that was quietly taking place beneath the surface. Every moment they thought I was weak. Every time they counted me out, I was growing stronger. I was building the strength to walk through fire without flinching. I was learning to fight battles they would never even understand. But they couldn't see it. Because while they were busy judging me, while they were busy trying to define my limits, I was out there, pushing beyond them. I wasn't waiting for permission. I wasn't asking for validation. I was testing my boundaries. I was finding out just how far I could go, just how much I could endure, just how deeply I could reach inside myself and pull out everything I needed to succeed. And the deeper I went, the stronger I became. What they didn't realize was that every single moment of pain, every tear I shed, every time I fell and scraped my knees, was teaching me something they would never learn. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was thriving. I was evolving into something they couldn't even begin to comprehend. I wasn't the person they thought would stay down. I was becoming the person they would fear. They were still caught in their own delusions, still convinced that I was broken beyond repair. But I had already moved on. I had already left them behind in the dust. They didn't realize that every single challenge I faced only propelled me forward. Now, as I rise from the ashes of their doubts and their mockery, they watch in silence. They can feel the shift, the power I've harnessed from the struggle. They can feel the storm approaching, but they can't stop it. They can't outrun it, and they can't escape the truth. They created this. They created a beast. And now, they have to face the consequences of their actions. They have to look into the eyes of someone who has been broken and rebuilt stronger than they could have ever imagined. They thought they could break me. But what they didn't understand was that they were only building the monster they now have to face. They saw the fight in me, but they didn't realize the true depth of it. They watched me struggle. They saw the bruises on my spirit. And yet, they never understood the fire I had buried inside. They thought they were breaking me with each punch, each harsh word, each betrayal. What they failed to see was that I wasn't being broken. I was being forged. Each moment I spent in the dark, each second I endured the weight of the world on my shoulders, was a moment that made me stronger. They could have tried to crush me, but they were only pushing me to become the person I was always destined to be. They didn't see me as the warrior I was becoming. They saw me as the victim of their cruelty. But they were wrong. What they didn't understand was that I wasn't interested in being anyone's victim. I wasn't interested in playing the role of the one who was defeated. They may have taken some things from me, but they couldn't take my spirit. They couldn't take my will. They couldn't take my heart. And those were the things that mattered the most. I wasn't looking for pity. I wasn't searching for a rescue, and I wasn't waiting for anyone to come save me. I was saving myself. And now, the world will feel the weight of what they created. The person they thought they could destroy, the one they mocked, the one they left behind, is back. And I'm not here for revenge. I'm here to show them what happens when you take someone who was once broken and turn them into a force they can't control. Every scar is a badge of honor. Every struggle is a lesson learned. Every fall was simply an opportunity to rise again, stronger, wiser, more determined than ever before. They created a beast, not because I wanted it, but because I was forced to become one. I was forced to evolve into something they never anticipated. And now they'll see what happens when you push someone past their limits. Now they'll see what happens when you create a force so powerful, so relentless, that it cannot be contained. Now they'll see what happens when you dare to underestimate the one person who refuses to quit. They thought they could break me, but they only created something they cannot defeat. Now, they stand in silence. They stand in disbelief. The very same people who thought they knew me, who thought they had me figured out, who thought they could break me, now find themselves paralyzed by the realization that they were wrong. So wrong. They thought I was just like everyone else, fragile and easy to dismiss. They thought I would fade away when the pressure became too much. They thought they could wear me down, break my spirit, crush my soul under the weight of their words and their actions. They thought the endless battles I fought would eventually consume me. But now, they see. They see the truth. They see the fire that never died. They see the strength I built when they thought I had nothing left to give. They see the beast I became. A beast forged in fire, tempered in pain, and unleashed on a world that never believed in me. And now, the silence falls over them. The silence that speaks louder than any words ever could. The silence that says, I'm here, I survived, and I'm only getting started. The silence that stares them down, daring them to say anything. But they can't, because they know. They know that they've underestimated me. They know that they've pushed me to the edge, but they've only made me stronger. They know that in the end, they are the ones who will have to live with the consequences of their actions. The power they thought they could control, the power they thought they could silence, has erupted in a way they could never have imagined. And now, as they watch me rise, they feel the weight of their own regret. They feel the weight of their own arrogance. And they know deep down that they created this. They created the very thing they now fear. The monster they never saw coming. The force they never understood. The relentless warrior they thought would be destroyed but only emerged stronger. I am not the person they thought they knew. I am not the broken shell they left behind. I am not the weak, defeated individual they believed they had crushed. I am the living proof that failure is not the end. It's the beginning. They thought it was my end. But they had no idea that it was just the beginning of something greater than they could ever have imagined. I am here. I am unbreakable. And I will rise every time they try to bring me down. And when I stand, they will be the ones left trembling. They will be the ones to face the consequences of their own underestimation. Because now, the only thing that matters is the result. And that result is unstoppable.